The dig that should never have happened. The wind over southern Iraq did not sound like wind that day. It sounded like something whispering through broken stone, low, uneven, almost deliberate. Dr. Elias Mercer had heard that sound before. Not in textbooks, not in lectures, but in ruins that carried too much silence, the kind that felt intentionally placed. His excavation team stood at the edge of an ancient mound near the remains of Ur, one of the oldest known cities in human history. The sun was brutal, pressing down like a judgment that had waited 5,000 years to be delivered. Ground scan is picking something up again, one of the researchers said, adjusting her headset. But it's strange. The density pattern doesn't match clay, stone, or metal. Elias leaned over the monitor. A shape appeared beneath the earth. Not random debris. Not a collapsed structure. A perfect geometric seal. Circular. Layered. Structured in repeating patterns that did not belong to any known Sumerian architectural method. Is it a tomb? Someone asked. Elias didn't answer immediately. Because tombs didn't pulse. And this one did. They dug anyway. They always did. It started as careful excavation. Then precision digging. Then controlled removal of layers that had not seen daylight since the first cities of humanity rose from the riverbeds. But at exactly 17.3 meters deep, the shovels stopped. Not because of stone. Because of something worse. Clay. Smooth. Artificially shaped. Fused into a slab so perfect it looked manufactured rather than formed by time. And carved into it. Cuneiform. But wrong. The symbols resembled Sumerian writing, yet followed a structure no linguist could translate. Dr. Hannah Patel crouched beside it, brushing away dust with trembling fingers. "This isn't language," she whispered. "It's ordered instruction. Like code." Elias felt a chill crawl up his spine despite the desert heat. "Translate it anyway." She hesitated. "Elias, I don't think we should. Translate it." Silence. Then the laser scanner activated. The tablet responded instantly. Not visually. Physically. A faint vibration spread through the ground beneath them. Dust lifted slightly from the surface as if the earth itself had exhaled. The tablet was reacting. To being read. Half an hour later, Hannah went pale. I got something," she said. Elias stepped closer. "Read it." Her voice shook. "This is not a record of kings. This is a record of observation. Do not awaken what sleeps beneath the 7 sealed layers." They called themselves the builders before language had names. "We called them gods because we had no other word." The team went silent. Even the machines seemed quieter. Elias frowned. "That's mythological phrasing. Probably symbolic." "No," Hannah interrupted sharply. "It's structured too consistently. This is not poetry. It's warning protocol." A gust of wind swept across the excavation site. And for the first time that day, the ground beneath them made a sound. A deep, hollow click. Like something unlocking. One of the younger researchers stepped back. "Tell me I'm not the only one who heard that." No one answered. Because the tablet was now glowing faintly beneath its dust layer. Not with light from the sun, but from inside it. Elias stepped forward again, heart pounding harder than reason allowed. "We open it," he said. Hannah grabbed his arm. "Elias, if this is some kind of containment message, then we need to know what it's containing." The wind stopped completely. Absolute silence fell over the ruins. Even the desert seemed to hold its breath. Elias reached down and pressed his hand against the tablet. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the world shifted. Not visually, perceptually. Every member of the team felt it at once, a pressure change in reality itself, like the boundary between thought and something older had been brushed aside. The tablet's cuneiform lines rearranged themselves. Impossible. But undeniable. Hannah whispered. It's rewriting itself. New text formed. One sentence. Clear. Direct. Untranslated by machine. Already understood by instinct. The first seal is broken. And far beneath their feet, something answered. A vibration that did not come from the earth, but from whatever lay beneath it. The 7 seals beneath civilization. The moment the message changed, the excavation site stopped feeling like a dig. It felt like a threshold. Dr. Elias Mercer stepped back from the tablet, his breath uneven, eyes locked on the glowing inscription as if it might change again at any second. But it didn't. It had already said enough. The first seal is broken. Hannah Patel didn't move. She just stared at the tablet like her mind was trying to reject what her eyes were accepting. That's not translation error, she said quietly. That's confirmation. One of the technicians laughed nervously. Confirmation of what? Some ancient superstition. No one answered. Because the ground answered instead. A low, distant thrum rolled beneath them, like a heartbeat buried under kilometers of stone. Elias turned toward the seismic monitor. The waveform was spiking. Not random tremors. Rhythmic pulses. Evenly spaced. Like something was waking up on a schedule. They brought in containment protocols within the hour. Military liaison teams arrived faster than expected, which told Elias everything he needed to know. Someone had been monitoring this site long before the tablet was uncovered. A temporary perimeter was established. Drones circled overhead. Ground sensors multiplied like invasive thoughts. But none of it mattered. Because the tablet no longer behaved like an artifact. It behaved like a key that had already been turned. Hannah ran scans again and again, each time getting the same impossible result. There are structures below this layer, she said. Not natural. Not archaeological. Artificial geometry extending downward in perfect symmetry. Elias studied the projection. 7 descending layers. Each deeper than the last. Each sealed in a different structural pattern. Like locks. Or prison doors. 7 seals, he muttered. Hannah nodded slowly. And we just opened the first one. That night, the desert changed. The wind returned, but it no longer came from one direction. It circled the excavation site in slow, spiraling currents, as if something unseen was testing the boundaries of its enclosure. One of the junior researchers refused to stay in the field tents. I keep hearing voices under the sand, he said, trembling. Like people talking through walls. They dismissed it as stress. Until the equipment picked it up too. Audio sensors began recording a repeating pattern beneath the ambient noise. Not language. Not static. A structured sequence. Mathematical. Intentional. Hannah froze when she recognized it. It's not voices, she said. It's signal. Elias looked at her sharply. Signal from what? She hesitated too long before answering. From below the first seal. At 2:14 a.m., the tablet changed again. No one touched it. No external input. No physical trigger. Yet new lines formed across its surface like ink bleeding through reality itself. Elias and Hannah rushed to the site. The glowing text now extended beyond the original tablet boundary, as if the message was too large to be contained in clay. Hannah translated in real time, voice breaking as she read. The builders did not create the seals to imprison us. They created them to imprison what they feared we would become. We were never buried. We were stored. Elias felt a cold drop in his stomach. That doesn't make sense, he whispered. Hannah's eyes didn't leave the tablet. It does if we were never the original species here. A silence fell so heavy it felt physical. Then, the ground beneath the tablet shifted downward by a fraction of an inch. Not collapse. Not erosion. descent, as if something below had just moved for the first time in millennia, and responded to the breaking seal. Far beneath them, in the darkness no human had ever seen, a second system activated, and something ancient registered the event, not with alarm, but with recognition. Seal 1. Opened. Observer status. Human species confirmed. Containment protocol. Progressive awakening initiated. The ones who were never meant to wake. By dawn, the excavation site no longer belonged to Earth. It belonged to the system beneath it. Dr. Elias Mercer stood outside the reinforced perimeter, staring at the tablet through layers of protective glass and military-grade containment shielding. It didn't matter. The tablet was no longer contained. It was broadcasting. Not sound. Not light. Something deeper, like an idea being injected directly into reality itself. Hannah Patel hadn't slept. None of them had. Her voice was hoarse when she spoke. We're not dealing with a relic anymore, Elias. This is an interface. Elias didn't look away. Interface to what? Hannah hesitated, then said it. To something that is still alive. The seismic readings changed again at 6:33 a.m. The second seal responded. Not with collapse, but with structure forming inside the Earth itself. Deep drilling equipment, originally brought in to stabilize the dig, started returning impossible data. Empty space. Perfect void corridors. Geometric tunnels that should not exist under natural pressure conditions. And then the first anomaly appeared. A signal burst. Short. Sharp. Directed upward. Every device in the camp received it at once. Monitors flickered. Radios distorted. Even handheld cameras glitched for exactly 1.7 seconds. When they stabilized, every screen displayed the same symbol. A circle divided into 7 segments. 2 of them now glowing. A soldier outside the perimeter shouted, "Something's moving under Sector 3. No one had to confirm it. The ground confirmed it for them. A long, slow elevation of soil. Like something massive turning beneath the crust of the Earth. Elias rushed toward the sensors. "Show me thermal." The display flickered, then revealed it. A structure the size of a city block. Rising. Not digging. Not breaking through. Ascending as if it had always been there, waiting for permission to exist again. Hannah whispered, "It's responding to the seals." Elias turned to her. "You said they were containment layers." "I was wrong," she said quietly. "They're awakening layers." That night, the tablet changed for the 3rd time. No warning. No transition. Just sudden expansion of text across its surface. And this time, it was not translated by machines. It was understood by everyone who looked at it. Even those who did not speak ancient languages. The meaning entered their minds directly. Second seal acknowledged. Memory structures initializing. Biological confirmation required. A pause. Then the final line appeared. Designated species, human. Status, incomplete. Hannah stepped back like she had been struck. "Incomplete," she repeated. Elias's voice was barely audible. "Incomplete what?" The tablet answered. Without words. The air above it distorted. And for a brief moment, the team saw something beneath the desert that was not rock, not metal, not earth, but architecture built on a scale that made mountains look accidental. A buried civilization. Or something pretending to be one. And in the center of it, a shape. Sleeping. Waiting. Counting seals. At 3:11 a.m., every sensor in the camp simultaneously shut off. Then rebooted. Then displayed a single message. Seal 2. Opened. And far below, something opened its eyes for the first time in 10,000 years. The city beneath the crust. After seal 2 opened, silence didn't return. It was replaced. Not with sound, but with awareness. Dr. Elias Mercer noticed it first in the equipment behavior. Every sensor, every drone, every underground scanner began aligning their readings, not randomly, not by calibration error, but like they were being tuned by an external intelligence. Hannah stood frozen near the command console. "It's not just waking up," she said. "It's syncing with us." Elias frowned. "Syncing how?" She pointed at the screen. All subsurface maps had changed. Not slightly. Completely. The desert beneath them was gone, replaced by a perfect layered megastructure stretching downward beyond the limits of every scan range they had. A city, but not built upward. Built inward, into the earth itself. Then came the impossible confirmation. A drone, sent to verify structural anomalies, descended through a newly opened fissure. At 400 meters, it stopped reporting terrain. At 900 meters, it stopped reporting friction. At 1,200 meters, it captured something that should not have existed. A vast illuminated corridor stretching into darkness, lined with walls that shimmered like polished stone and metal fused together. And symbols. The same symbols from the tablet. But now alive. Moving. Rewriting themselves as the drone passed. Then the feed cut out. But not before transmitting one final frame. A structure. A cityscape. And in the center, a massive sealed gate. With 6 segments glowing. And one still dark. Hannah whispered, "It's not under earth." Elias turned slowly. "What do you mean?" "It's inside it." She zoomed in on the last frame. The architecture didn't behave like excavation layers or buried ruins. It followed curvature. Spherical curvature. Like Earth itself was only the outer shell of something far older. Something constructed. Elias felt his stomach drop. "You're saying Earth is a cover?" Hannah didn't answer immediately. Then she said the words nobody in science was supposed to say. "I'm saying we might be living on top of a containment shell." At 11:47 p.m., the tablet activated again. No external input. No physical contact. Just response. The remaining seals on its surface flickered. 3 now active. 1 partially destabilized. And beneath them, a message that did not feel like translation anymore. It felt like communication across layers of existence. 3rd seal synchronized. Observer proximity detected. Non-native species confirmed active within surface layer. Elias stepped closer despite every alarm in his mind screaming not to. "What are you?" he whispered. The tablet responded instantly. Not in words this time, but in images. The desert vanished from his vision, replaced by a memory not his own. A world before Earth. A civilization spanning stars. And something they called the Builders. Not gods. Not aliens. But engineers of planetary systems. And humanity appeared in their records not as origin, but as an experiment that survived containment. A controlled variable that should have ended long ago, but didn't. Hannah staggered backward. "We weren't discovered," she whispered. "We were reviewed." A tremor rolled beneath them. Not seismic. Structural. The city beneath Earth was moving again. Deeper gates unlocking. And somewhere in the dark below, something that had been labeled incomplete humanity began to understand what surface life had become. Humanity was the final seal. The moment the 4th seal destabilized, everything changed. Not gradually. Instantly. Dr. Elias Mercer felt it first in his body. Like gravity had briefly forgotten which direction it was supposed to pull him. The air grew heavier, then lighter, then structured, as if reality itself was being recompiled in real time. Hannah's voice broke the silence. "It's accelerating." Elias turned toward her. What is? She pointed at the tablet. All remaining seals were now active. Except one. The deepest one. Still dormant. Still dark. And beneath it, something enormous began to respond. The ground didn't shake this time. It opened. A fissure spread across the desert floor like a slow-moving wound, perfectly straight, perfectly engineered. No collapse. No chaos. Just controlled separation of Earth's crust along lines that had clearly existed long before humans had ever walked the surface. Military personnel shouted orders, but their voices were swallowed by an expanding low-frequency hum rising from below. Not sound. Recognition. The buried structure was no longer hiding. It was revealing itself. Then the signal returned. Every device activated at once. Every screen. Every camera. Every display in the perimeter camp. And the message appeared again. But this time, it was no longer just text. It had presence. Fourth seal acknowledged. Surface species interaction threshold exceeded. Humanity classification update in progress. Hannah whispered, "We're being reclassified." Elias stared at the tablet. By what system? The answer came immediately. Not from the tablet. From beneath it. A projection erupted from the ground. A three-dimensional structure rising through the sand like a ghost being forced into reality. A colossal chamber. Then another beneath it. Then another. Layer after layer unfolding downward in impossible geometry. And at the center of it all, a single core structure. A containment sphere the size of a mountain. Surrounded by 6 completed seals. And one final seal, linked directly to the surface. Linked to them. Hannah stepped back. Elias, that last seal isn't down there. Elias already understood. No, he whispered. It's here. The tablet cracked. Not physically. Conceptually. Like it could no longer contain the information it was holding. And for the first time, it spoke without translation barriers. The message entered their minds like a memory returning. Final seal, humanity. Status, active. Function, containment layer. Silence, absolute silence. Even the wind stopped again. Hannah's voice barely existed. We are the seal? The projection below them shifted. And the truth unfolded. Humanity was never the experiment. Humanity was never the subject. Humanity was the lock. A biological containment system seated across a planet-sized prison designed to hold something beneath the earth. Something so advanced, so ancient, that the builders had not destroyed it. They had buried it. And built a species on top of it to ensure it would never wake fully again. Elias felt his knees weaken. So every war, every civilization, every rise and fall, Hannah finished it for him, was maintenance. The ground trembled violently now. The 6th seal flared. The final systems below activated. And something vast began pressing upward from the core. Not escaping. Not breaking free, but testing the lock that was now weakening. A voice echoed, not through air, but through cognition itself. Not human. Not alien. Something older than both. The seal is weakening. A pause. Then. And it has learned to think. Hannah grabbed Elias's arm. If we are the seal, what happens when it breaks completely? Elias looked at the glowing tablet. Now fully unstable. Now failing. And beneath them, the ancient structure began to rise faster. He answered quietly. Then whatever they buried here. He swallowed. Remembers why it was buried. The final seal flickered. Once. Twice. And the earth held its breath for the last time.